All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Power of Peptides call tonight. I'm so excited to be co-hosting this with my friend Bree, and I'm thrilled to introduce her to you in just a couple of minutes. I just want to take a minute to introduce myself. I'm Talia Bateman, and I am fairly new to using peptides. I'm just going to jump in here and share a little bit about myself. I have been in the health and wellness space for about 10 years. 10 years ago, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of supplements and preventative health care, and
Yeah.
um, I've been obsessed with overall strategies for health and wellness that go beyond nutrition, movement, and rest, right? Those are the foundational pillars of all health and wellness, but everything else is a strategy. Um, I also am a certified health and life coach, and I love helping people understand their own bodies and kind of pushing through any sort of setbacks they have. Um, and I'm also a business coach, but I digress. Um, I'm really excited to share with you tonight. Like I said, I'm pretty new to the world of peptides. I started my peptide journey on June 13th of this year, 2025. And it's so interesting. I'll never forget that date because I I feel so much better. I don't ever want to go back to before June 13th. And for me, it was a decision that took a long time for me to make. I kind of had heard about peptides for the last few years, didn't really know much about them. I knew what a GLP-1 was, but other than it being related to weight loss, I really had no idea that it was such an amazing tool and that I would be a candidate for peptide therapy. I just kind of thought, well, it's out there. It's not for me. I'm good. I've always been an avid macro tracker, loving my workouts, and this past year I turned 45 and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm not kidding. And I'm pretty sure that uh, I had inflammation and some insulin resistance building in my body within the last 5 years. And I hate to say this word out loud because to me it signals midlife, but I think I was experiencing perimenopause symptoms. My body was changing, and I felt like everything that I used to do to keep myself healthy was not working anymore, and it was actually working against me. And so I did have this realization. I started to gain weight. I just became really puffy all over. I had a really low mood, lots of ups and downs um, with my mood throughout the month, like extreme mood fluctuations, lots of sensitivities to food. And I just thought, well, I'm in midlife. This is how it's just gonna be. And I remember going to my doctor, and he was like, his answer for me was, "You'll be fine." My wife was fine. You're going to go through the changes and you'll get through it. And if not, we'll just put you on an antidepressant. Not that I'm against that, but that was not the answer that I was looking for. And I just left there feeling like I don't accept that. I feel like I am just coming into this season of life where um I don't know. It's a new season, and I don't know. I felt like that didn't sit right with me. I felt like there was something that I was missing, and so I began to open my mind. And I'm so glad I did because through some conversations with some friends of mine who are also experiencing the same things in midlife, and an experience with a close family friend of mine who was using a GLP-1, I thought, wow, I didn't know what I didn't know. And so the more I learned about peptides and peptide therapy, the more it opened up a whole entire world that I did not even know existed. Peptides have been around for a long time, and now they are becoming accessible to the masses. And they have such amazing benefits, But the cool thing about peptides is that they have a similar profile to a supplement because our body already makes them. And so peptides just kind of help our bodies communicate better with one another. And I had another friend explain it to me this way. She said, you know what? In midlife, our bodies are kind of like they have AOL dial-up, and we just sort of need a reset and a reboot. And that's exactly what it did for me. So I started microdosing a GLP-1 GIP in June, and I am telling you, it has done everything for my body that I hoped it would and more. My hormones are regulated. I do not have the up and down, drastic mood changes. Thank you to my husband for pointing that out for me because I was so excited about the reduction of inflammation. I literally had like a whoosh of inflammation leave my body. And I didn't really realize that I was hanging on to so much until it was gone. I was so excited about that. And and also just my cognitive clarity. Like I was able to focus like I hadn't ever been able to. And I think it was because I was not thinking about food all the time. I was not obsessively tracking everything or wondering like when my next meal was going to be or things like that. And I've never even been overweight. But the food noise was taking up so much of my brain that when that was gone and the inflammation was gone, I had all these other benefits and I didn't even know they were happening. So since starting, I've lost over 10 pounds. So there was the initial inflammation, and now I'm starting to see some body recomposition happening where I'm experiencing fat loss because I am actually under the watchful eye of a trainer right now because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was seeing that was accurate. So I'm really excited about that. I feel like I have more energy. And I also, about 4 weeks into my GLP-1 GIP, I started stacking NAD and glutathione. And I'm telling you, that is such a powerful combination. And NAD is for cell regeneration, and I feel like my skin is more radiant. I feel like I have more energy, and it's actually just brought a vibrancy back to my body that was gone. And the glutathione is a master antioxidant, and I'm telling you guys, I had COVID at the beginning of August, and I had an IV nurse come over, and she said, "Take those two, NAD and glutathione, every single day until your COVID symptoms are gone." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yes." And it took me 3 days, 3 days to fully recover from COVID. No cough, nothing. So that was all I needed to really firm up my conviction. And I'm going to be a peptide lover forever. My next, I really want to try the GHKCU, the copper peptide, and the BPC 157. That really helps like t with tissue repair and so that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm going to be loud and proud about it because I think there's so much misinformation and so much shame around the use of peptides that I'm here to say all of that is wrong. And if anybody is afraid or, has some misconceptions in their mind, I'm just going to encourage you and challenge you to do some research and really start learning because I promise you what you find out is just the beginning of the next 100 years of people using peptide therapy to enhance their health and wellness. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend Bree, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her today. Bree is a nutrition therapy practitioner and the founder of Radiant Roots. Breanna helps women live a more radiant life by offering coaching around diet, exercise, and lifestyle to get to the root cause of what's really going on. So Bree really takes a holistic approach and just by having the first conversation with her, I can tell she really truly cares about the quality of care she's giving her clients and she cares about the overall person. It's not just, one stop shop or a one size fits all approach. She really does curate her practice around the individual. So, Bree, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you take it away.
I love your story. I think this might be the third time I've heard it, and each time I'm like, that's amazing. Every time. Thank you. Nice to be here. Very excited about it. Before starting my story, I wanted to talk for a quick second about how we're seeing lots of misconceptions, um, blatantly false things, and then lots of shame online. And I'm trying to push that in my messaging as well because a lot of people will do it in secret thinking that something's wrong. They're like, I'm gonna get my peptide. I'm also gonna get it from kind of a shady source online because I don't want to tell anybody. And that's one, who cares what people say? They're amazing for your body. Our bodies already make them. It's prescribed by a doctor. And two, like going through LAMD, and this is part of my story, is going through LAMD and having that verified source is critical for knowing what you're getting, the quality of the product, and then the quality and quantity, which is part of that too. So my introduction to peptides was actually through my husband. He was getting out of the military, had lots of injuries, lots of things that he was trying to address, and had started researching peptides. And he was telling me about them, and I'm like, the names sound weird, like BPC 157, TB 500. Any version of like a GLP, I'm like, those names sound really weird. I don't know what I think about that. And then we moved here and he started a GLP by itself. And I just still didn't know very much. I had a couple friends that were doing the fear mongering. And I was like, that doesn't sound right because he's been on it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he feels good. So I started researching. I was like, what I'm hearing doesn't match up with what I'm seeing. So I need to research and see that I understand it. And I dug into all of the research online and PubMed and all of them. And a lot of things we see online are completely untrue, or someone had abused the medication, and that happens when anyone abuses it. But for my husband, he lost weight, he was sleeping better, his sleep apnea improved, his lipid levels improved. He was doing amazing. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something behind this. But I thought maybe it's not for me. So I have Hashimoto's, I also have PCOS. I knew that people were being treated for PCOS with these peptides and that it was helping. But then I still thought maybe it's not for me. I'm going to go for diet, lifestyle, exercise. And I did that. I did all of the things, and my body was not responding. I'm a person who loves data. I love it so much, and I'm going to talk about a couple numbers. So I had been working on my triglycerides, my cholesterol, my all the lipids. They were not great. I was doing all the appropriate exercise. I was losing weight very slowly with Hashimoto's. When PCOS, my blood sugar was okay, but it still wasn't where it should have been, and I just didn't feel great. I had a lot of inflammation, and I didn't understand why I had so much inflammation. And so my last labs in December, I was like, these are not great. And my cholesterol is not getting better. It's getting worse. Even though I was doing everything perfect, everything, diet and lifestyle, I was doing what I needed to do. Um, and I even went to my doctor and I said, look, I'm tracking my calories, I'm tracking my macros, I'm tracking my nutrients, I'm tracking my sleep. I was literally going over everything. Everything was right and nothing was changing. It was actually getting worse. And so he said, okay, well, let's start out with TB 500. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'm willing to trust you. I need something's not right. And so we started with TB 500, and I love that peptide. I did not have it with BPC 157, and I know that's how Ellie has that package together. They're both amazing peptides, and working together, it's only for the best. But what I noticed with the TB 500 is it improved the muscle gain. And so when I was working out, I was more sore, but I also was improving in my muscle mass. And then I went back and I said, hey, I really think I need something to work on my appetite. And then talked through all the numbers. And he said, okay, let's do it. Let's do a microdose of GLP, GIP, and we're going to see what that does. So I did very small dose. I stretched it out to 10 days in between because I was nervous about um, going too far, too fast, because I was working with clients who had done that and they didn't have a good company or they didn't have a doctor helping them with their dosing, which is why I bring up the doctors and dosing and sourcing. They didn't have that. And I saw the issues and I was like, I want to do it right. And so I did microdosing from the end of February to June. And my triglycerides went from 175 to 72. So there was a 100-point drop in triglycerides. And that is how your body responds to blood sugar regulation. And your body needs to be under 150 for like healthy ranges. And then cholesterol, this guy was bad. It was going from 236 to 250. It was bad and it was not improving. And my cholesterol dropped to 197, so on the cusp, but in that time it dropped. And then my cholesterol HDL ratio, that's another one where when you're talking with like a functional medicine doctor, they're looking at the ratios because that's really important. And the range is from 0 to 5.5, but you don't want to be towards the fives. That's a problem. And I was at 4.6. And July, no, these were done in July. My July labs was 2.6. And then my LDL dropped by 50 points. My glucose went from 105 to 84. So, like, all these areas where I was looking at the numbers, I was watching them trend in the wrong direction. Everything I was doing was not improving it. I did a very small dose, and my body still responded in the amazing ways. And then also because I have Hashimoto, so there's the antibodies, there's your TSH. My antibodies dropped by 100 points when they had not dropped for years. And then my TSH is at a zero point 0.8 when it's not gotten under a 2 since I was diagnosed. And that's really important because when you want to focus on your fertility, I know some women are in midlife, perimenopause, they're thinking past their fertility age. If we have anyone that's listening that's thinking they want to get pregnant, being under a 1 is really essential for your body to do what it's supposed to do in the essence of fertility. And my body's doing that now. So all those things. And then I lost 18 pounds, which is fun. Like I like that. But I like my health metrics. I want to be lighter. I want to feel better. That's a good thing. But I also want to live longer and I want to live fuller. And I can do that without feeling so terrible. So I think that's my story. And I lost, so out of the 18 pounds, it was 10 pounds of inflammation in that first week. And my calories dropped by 200 calories because I was tracking everything, 200 calories a day. It's not actually fat loss to be able to lose that much that fast. And then over this time, it's been another 8 pounds of fat loss. And so there's a little bit of body recomp happening, but the 10 pounds of inflammation was wild, absolutely wild. So that's my story. I love LAMD. Um, I guess I'm not done. I love LAMD. I noticed my clients were not having good sources, and so I wanted to partner with a company where I could help them have a source that was the highest quality and could actually get the products to people in time. And that was something that's not available for most people. And then looking at the sourcing and the pharmacies, that's also really, really important. And it's really important to me if I'm going to promote something to make sure that I'm doing it in the best way to protect them and their health forever. And so sourcing is super important to me. And that was a really big deal when looking at Ellie. And then now we're using LAMD. So I love it.
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing your story and also for bringing the numbers. I love the way that your brain works and how you have done such a great job tracking on either side of your peptide using peptides. So you have that clear data to rely on. And that's what it comes down to, right? Is like sometimes our bodies just need an assist. And peptides are here to do that for us. So thank you, Bree. You're going to change so many lives, lady. And I love that we're on, we're on both sides of this,
My
right?
family. I'm getting my family and I'm like, I'm going to help them first and then everybody else.
Yes. Well, that's where it all starts, right? So, and I think you brought up a great point too with the quality of our peptides and LEMD in general. So LEMD is a telehealth concierge company that will partner not only with you as an individual, but with your business. So if you're a business owner and you're watching this live or watching this recording, what a value add to your clientele to be able to partner with Ellie and offer them an array of peptides that that they go through a telehealth provider. We have peptides available in all 50 states. So even if you have a local business, think about what it could do for your clientele and for your business to be able to expand your reach nationwide. You know, so many businesses have such a great social media presence, but they're limited by their proximity to their clientele. And Ellie is such a great way to increase that and also just help add another layer of healing and wellness to your clients' lives. Um, so I want to encourage you to reach out to whoever sent you this recording and encourage you to watch it because there's so much more with the Ellie Business Partnership for you guys to dive into. So, and then another thing with Ellie is that we do use prescription grade peptides. These are all triple purified. Um, and I think Bree, you brought up a really great point. Is like people are so curious, they want to do it in secret. They're just grabbing at whatever's out there, whatever's the cheapest, whatever they see the most of. And I want you all to be really careful. That's why we specifically chose Ellie because there's a lot
Mhm.
of like supplements, right? I heard this 10 years ago. There's a lot of great supplements out there. There's a lot of not great supplements. There's a lot of great peptides out there. There's a lot of gray market research grade peptides that are not purified and they contain heavy metals. Those are not meant for human consumption. So that's why you really want to check your sources. In a few years, majority of the population will be using peptides. So I heard some crazy statistic like in 2027, 70% of the population will be using peptides. And just like their supplements, right? It will be just like a regular part of their wellness routine. So it's not really going to be, are you using peptides? It's going to be, where are you getting your peptides? Because that really matters. So just be sure to really check that. And that's why we all trust Ellie. And they use only 503A compounding pharmacies. They're all NABP certified. Like I said, we have a large and vast telehealth community that backs these products and then also takes your health and your health history and your own body into consideration before writing the script for these. Um, well, I just want to thank you again. I'm going to close up the
Another
call
point of
here.
that
Oh, go ahead,
I
Bree.
think another point of that is that you don't know what you're getting when you get from a less or not certified pharmacy. And that's if you're not totally concerned about what's in it and you're not concerned about heavy metals, even though we should be, but you're not there yet. Just thinking about you don't even know if the dose you're getting is the dose you're getting. So you could be paying cheaper and getting less than you would get if you had like per ounce or per unit, you'd be getting less as if you just bought it from a trusted source.
Mhm.
I know people who go even to like local med spas where some of them are legit, but then some aren't, and they will add more of the water so it's diluted, so you think you're getting a dose that you're not getting. And so even if you don't care about what's going into your body, which I hope we do, um, people do care about getting the results, and you're not going to get the same results if you're not getting a consistent or accurate dosing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And being in charge of your own vial with
Mhm.
peptides. I mean, we all know our bodies more than anybody else. And with peptides, sometimes less is more. I mean, if you already have those healthy habits intact, your body will optimize the peptides. And it gets shipped right to your door. So it doesn't get any easier or a higher quality than that. So if you have questions about peptides or are curious as to how to place an order or how to partner with your business, again, reach out to the person who encouraged you to watch this and also follow Bree on social media. She posts great things. Bree, how can we find you on social media?
I will type it in. Radiant Ruth, but there's underscores. I'll
Look
type
up
it in.
Radiant Roots on Instagram. You'll find her. She'll pop up. And
Yes.
Talia Bateman
I'm on
too.
Facebook,
And
but
oh,
I'm
Facebook.
on Instagram.
There you go, girl. Okay, put it in there. And we'll be having this Power of Peptides weekly on Tuesday night. So we hope to see you on another call again in the future. And until then, take care. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Bree.
Bye. See you all.
Bye bye.